This podcast was recorded on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of Mad About You. And Jad and I are stoked today because we have one of our close friends joining us, and she's our first guest on Mad About You.
Welcome, first guest.
Yeah, so
Sammy
our first
Robinson.
guest is Sammy Robinson, guys. And yeah, we've been friends with Sam for many, many years now. She was at our wedding. She's been a close friend and confidant of ours. And we've brought her on to chat all things love, relationships, business, and all her successes and accolades. But firstly, as you guys know, we start our pod with a little segment with crazy dating stories. And Sammy told me this one a while ago, and I asked if she would be so kind as to reshare it, which she said she would. And let me just tell you, get your popcorn ready because this story is wild.
Oh my God, that's so much pressure now. I hope I can say it and really live up to expectations here.
Take your time.
Firstly, thanks for having me, Mum and Dad.
Absolute pleasure.
That's such an honour. I didn't know that I was the first guest.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are.
Oh, I feel very special.
I mean, if we're not counting our parents, who they weren't in
true.
the studio. We just interviewed them.
Oh, did you? Okay. Wow, that's fun.
So, yeah,
Little
you're
context.
And we
First.
wanted to start low so we could build.
Yeah,
so we're
exactly.
starting with you.
What a letdown for the listeners.
Hun, don't ignore him.
Oh, right. I thought you meant me. I was like, okay, I'll just go for myself.
No.
Okay, so let me just paint the picture. Jadé and I are sitting at my house eating teriyaki chicken. We're on a little date ourselves.
I've got a non-alcoholic vino.
She's got a non-alcoholic vino. I've got a full strength vino. And I was getting myself all amped up for this date. This is a little while ago. It's just like, it's a stupid, silly short story because it didn't last long, and you'll understand why in a second.
Just start the story, Sammy. We don't need the ending
I
yet.
know, the context. This is my problem. I just give too much context. Anyway, so I'm dating this guy. It's a very short-lived sort of dating situation, but I'm thinking this guy's sort of ticking all the boxes, a little bit different. I'd been actually set up by him through a friend, and he had, all of the accolades, I guess, and the vetting had been done for me. So I thought,
we trusted the source.
So we trusted the source.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm dating this guy for a couple of weeks, and it's like going quite well. But anyway, I'm not really looking for anything as such, and so it's not something that's like deeply on my mind. And I am a massive lover girl, so if it's not deeply on my mind, then I don't think that I like them that much anyway. But he comes over to my house after we've dated for a couple of weeks, and he sits me down to have a really serious chat. Essentially, the way that it went was that he was like, I'm going on a health retreat. I need to get away. I need to see a counsellor. I'm going to do,
Was something wrong with
There's
him?
a lot going on.
Well,
Like, had you noticed when he said, I'm going on a health retreat, were you like, yeah, that makes sense. You're cooked.
look, there was I think there was a lot of partying being done, and maybe he had some inner traumas. I'm not sure. I didn't really speculate. I didn't also dive in and ask too many details because, again, it was too new. It was
you
too
just
fresh.
thought healthy king.
I was like, this is a really unique situation because I've never dealt with a guy that wants to work on himself. So I'm like, wow.
on a health retreat too.
Yeah, I actually like this guy. This is
Yeah.
So
great.
him doing that actually took it from not so serious to you were like, fine, I'm going to consider this guy.
Yeah,
now.
this guy seems like he's got his head screwed on, and maybe this guy really has some self-reflection and really is in tune with his emotions, and that's very
Love that.
unique. I mean, I usually, I mean, you know my type. I usually date people that are very self-destructive and don't generally want to work on themselves. But anyway, so it's been like 2 weeks. He's away on this retreat, so I thought, I sent him a message just being like, I hope you're having a great time, and I am just, wishing you all the good luck.
You're not in touch
Not
during
really in
the
touch because
retreat.
he
He's
just
not
said that
sending
he
you-
just wants to be off his phone. He wants to just be on this retreat, and that's
Convenient.
yeah, right. So I found out context before this as well. He had, and this is a red flag in itself. I should have listened to this straight from the get go.
Okay.
He had basically spoken awfully about his exes. Very badly.
Okay.
Showed things he shouldn't have showed, just really was not a nice person when it came to his exes. That to me has always been a red flag when they speak so poorly about several of their exes, because it's like, it takes two to tango. I can empathize with a situation that might sound not so great, but also, it didn't sound like this was the scenario. He had a type, and it seemed to just be a very, very bad situation that he was in.
Okay.
And he made it clear that he would never speak to this person again. Wouldn't stop talking about her. Again, it's weird that I didn't read into this.
Okay.
Anyway, he's on this retreat. He's gone for 2 weeks. I sent him this message. It doesn't go through. It doesn't get delivered. So I'm like, oh, he must be in like a small town or in a
Middle
retreat.
of the Balinese
So
hills
cute.
with no reception.
He just no reception.
Or he's
It's not going to deliver.
prepaid credit like Lachie stuff.
Yeah. That could be it. But I then get sent a story of this guy
Like
at
an Instagram
an
story.
Instagram story, and he's at this mansion house party with his ex-girlfriend that was from another country, and she has come to Australia.
Wait, where were they
Wait.
in Australia?
In Australia at a house party in the eastern suburbs.
Is
He
this
never
part of-
left.
is this part of the retreat?
He used this as a scapegoat to kind of, I
Just
guess,
2 weeks away from you.
break it off. Either he wanted to break it off with me and didn't want to let me down, which I don't know why he would have done that because I didn't really care. It was not really a situation where we were exclusive or anything. Or he wanted to give 2 weeks with his ex to see if he could work it out.
Oh my
And in
gosh.
case it didn't work out or it blew up, I was there and he wasn't going to tell me. He was going to pretend he just came back from a health retreat. He never wanted me to know that he was in Sydney. I don't know what the hell this guy wanted. He was just unhinged.
Was it a close friend that sent you the story, or
Yeah.
was it okay?
He was a close friend. Yeah.
And
So they were like, we're at this party with your retreat friend.
Yeah.
He's not
He's
retreating.
not-
he's
He's there with his 2 ex-girlfriends.
two.
There was 2.
And you said she came from overseas. Like, she's not
Yeah,
from the...
she flew in. Yeah, she was in Australia. She's
sounds-
not from here.
For him.
I guess. I don't know. I never got the context. I never asked. Also, as soon
you
as I
never
saw
called him
that,
out? You
after he
never-
spoke so poorly about the other exes, and they were both there at the party with him, where he was supposed to be on a retreat and working on himself, I just was like, this guy is so unhinged.
That's unbelievable.
I know.
Wait,
It's so
what
funny.
was he doing in the story? Like, was it innocent? Were they just, they were both in the background together? Or was it like where there was body language?
I mean, they looked like they were together. Yeah.
Okay.
And I asked another friend that was there, were they together? And he said, yeah, they were. So
Right.
I think they're still together now. So I'm like, actually, genuinely,
Oh.
if they're listening, good luck to you guys.
Okay, so how did you approach
And just know
it
he
with him?
spoke really highly of you. And
Yeah,
thought
he
you were
spoke
special.
really highly of you.
I'm confused, but he could have been at the retreat, right? And that could have just been
He could
the
have been,
first day you
yeah.
got home. He just went to a
Well,
party
no, this was
before hanging out with
midway
you.
through the retreat, I'm pretty
okay.
sure. Or maybe, no, actually, he could have been. Yeah, he could have been back and he could have gone on the retreat and, woken up to the fact that he's madly in love with this
I don't
lunatic.
I don't think it was on the retreat.
Did you?
I don't think so either.
Did
but
you speak about it?
no, I was blocked. It never was. That's why it wasn't any reception. I was
Sorry,
blocked. He blocked me.
He blocked you.
Yeah, because it just never delivered. So he wasn't ever in bad reception. I was clearly blocked.
Oh my god, he
As in
blocked
he
you so
didn't
your
want-
messages
yeah.
weren't coming through
Yeah.
while he was
Gotcha.
with this
While
other
he was with
woman.
this other woman, yeah. It's so
Sammy.
funny.
Incredible. Is she like something special? Do you know anything about her? Because you're a
do.
bit of a catch, like as in any
thank
guy
you.
would be lucky
Thanks,
to have
Dad.
you,
What?
But
I'm sitting right here.
yeah, Sammy's my friend, like my daughter. But as in, so was this chick like she blew you out of the water? Or
I know
something,
exactly.
Or what?
Exactly who it is. I mean, I don't like speaking badly about people, but like, no. In my opinion, no. She's disgusting.
I don't like speaking poorly about
No.
other people, but I will say multiple horrible things about this person.
No, but like,
No, I
I'm
get
sure
you, I
she's a
get
really
you.
nice person. I've heard otherwise from a couple of people, but like, it doesn't bother me, and all power to them. It was never deep enough for me to be affected. But the only reason I'm bringing it up is that's the only weird dating experience I've had.
This man sounds unhinged.
I think he's like got a
like,
couple of screws loose.
really,
Yeah.
really strange behavior.
Strange
But
behaviour.
also, like, it's
have
not
you
like
ever had someone tell you, instead of just like breaking it off or like just maybe just ghosting you or not replying or basically fizzling out, that they're going away on a health retreat and then blocking you and never speaking to you again?
was he just trying to keep you on the line? Like,
I have no idea.
I reckon maybe. I reckon he blocked you so in case he was with this chick and she's a bit unhinged and messages start rolling through,
Yeah.
that would,
Yeah,
she would be
exactly.
asking
She would-
questions. So
exactly.
he's keeping, and he wants to see how it goes. If he flogs
Yeah.
it off after the 2 weeks, you go, hey, retreat was great. Let's
Yeah.
get dinner, like as in, that's what I imagine
Exact-
he was doing. But
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
It could
really
have
glad
been-
you didn't end up with this
I
person.
know, same. Oh my
Thank
god,
goodness.
same.
I actually
'Cause
remember when
especially-
Jad came home and told me about you, said that,
When I-
Sammy met this
yeah.
guy and you were like, he's got his own business and he's
Yeah.
really smart and established and he's really handsome. And I was like, oh, good on her. Like, finally, she's found a catch. And then here we go.
Finally.
Finally,
We're all
she's
waiting.
done it.
We're all sitting around waiting. When's Sammy going to meet a nice guy?
Wow.
Well,
Sammy,
thank you
yeah.
very much for sharing that story with us.
welcome.
We appreciate. We're sorry that you've had to endure it, but we do appreciate it for the pod.
I know, but you know what? The silver lining is that was my only bad dating story. I've had a couple of
It's not bad at
dating experiences where, like, I mean, I've never been on a date and guys paid for me. Maybe that's a bit weird, but like
Ever.
no, except for my current man.
Oh, okay.
all. What, just hold up?
No,
Alright.
well, like
current
I
man.
mean, with my long term relationship for sure, it would have been like give or take. But as in, like when you're asked on a date, I've never been like asked on a date.
You
and,
go
like,
on-
had a date or dinner paid for me.
Wait, because
No.
you're so quick with like whipping it out to flex on them or what?
I just go, I can get it, and they're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, yeah.
Sammy, who are
wow.
you dating?
I don't know.
Where
I
are you
don't
finding these children?
Yeah.
Man children.
I've been in. I think it's because I haven't had a lot of dating experiences either. I tend to go on one situation and make them my boyfriend straight away.
You're like, nice to meet you. Do you want to move in?
Yeah. I think we're married now.
Well, you know what? We'll circle back to a little cheeky something that you just dropped, which was talk of a new beau.
Yes.
But before then, let's get into actually telling you guys who Sammy is, because we haven't actually done that. You've just heard this really cooked story about her dating life, basically.
That would be nice.
So, for those of you who aren't aware of Samuela Robinsino, that's our extended nickname for Sammy Robinson.
My favourite nickname.
Basically, she's a trailblazer. She has totally dominated the beauty industry in terms of influencing, and then moved on to fashion and went on to create her label 1 Mile, which is absolutely thriving. And they've since donated almost $100,000, which is absolutely incredible. Good on you. That's
Thank
just
you.
beyond fathomable. Not to mention traveled the world with a bunch of different brands, including Clinique and NARS.
Mostly with you.
And yes, a few with me as well. We've been very lucky to do that together.
Yes.
And has more recently launched the brand globally and has been featured in Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. And we have actually just seen your clothes on the likes of Kendall Jenner, which has been
That's
absolutely amazing for you,
very
obviously.
exciting. Yeah.
But before we kind of get into, all your success, which has been phenomenal, and congratulations
Thank
to you, I thought we would just circle back, after hearing that heinous dating story.
I love that you guys start with that. That really just opens
Just
up
sets
a
the
lot of
tone.
wounds. And
Yeah.
We wanted to know, and you've kind of already addressed this, if you're seeing anyone at the moment. And if so, how that's going for you, because we'd love to hear a little success story come out of what was just appalling.
I know. I feel like my dating life is such a laugh for everyone that's around me constantly. I'm naturally more inclined to be a little bit more private this time because I've learnt from my mistakes, and I do tend to announce things on social
That's
media
okay.
quite quickly. But yes,
Sammy's
it's
off
going
the
well.
market.
I'm off the market. It's
Okay.
going well. He's
Hello.
very cute.
He's very cute.
He's
Okay.
very cute. He's
That
my
surprises me
age.
because you look like a pork scratcher. So.
I know. Can you believe I could pull someone
Yeah.
cute? I don't
Has
think
he paid for dinner?
he every time.
Oh, yes.
know.
Okay. Thank God.
He's a keeper. He's actually very cute. He's very. It's interesting because I've actually always historically dated people that are like 30 and above. They've been quite a few years older than me, and that's not because it's my type. It's just kind of happened that way. I don't go, "What's your age?" like before I date someone. But he's my age, so we're both 27, and he's actually more mature than anyone that I've ever dated. But he's also very silly as well. He's young. He's got energy about him. We just get along. I don't know. It's
click.
very nice.
Oh, good.
But it's new, so I'm just
I'm so glad to hear.
more private as I
So-
tell you every single thing.
So are you exclusive?
Yes.
Okay.
So you had the chat.
Yes.
Who brought it up?
Good question, Locke.
I think I did, but
Klinger.
I'm a clinger. I seriously am. It's
No,
an issue.
Can I just say I
That was a
appreciate
joke, guys.
you taking initiative, because if I didn't with him,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sitting here with a baby in my
Yeah,
belly.
exactly. I mean, exactly. Oh, it still makes me cry.
He just stood there silently.
Stood there. I was lying in bed with a bung leg, and you just jumped me.
Oh, well, that part we're skipping. We're
You
skipping
stood
over
there
it.
silently. Jadé's just climbing him like a tree, trying to figure it out.
We skipped over a few chapters. I was talking about when we met.
Yeah, sorry.
Looks like I just laid there. I'm
I lay
like,
there
You were
actually.
talking about the baby in your
hi,
belly.
nice to meet you, climbing on top of him. Anyway, I'm glad you took
That's so
initiative.
funny.
You've got to ask these
Yeah.
questions sometimes.
No, and it was actually an accident because we were sitting at dinner and Holly was there and I was like, Holly, you're my best friend. You need to interrogate this guy. And she goes, you know what she's like. She's just not like that at all. She looks at him and goes, what are your intentions with my best friend? And I was like, whoa.
She's gone full
Went
dad mode.
Full dad mode. I was like, I love you. That's great. But then she got quite awkward and just went to the bathroom. And then he looks at me and goes, why did you do that? I was like, she's fine. She doesn't actually care. And he goes, well, I want you to be my girlfriend. And I was like, whoa, I've just really set that up too. But it's the first time I've set it up and not asked because I feel like I'm always like, what are we? Are we in love yet?
So boyfriend,
Wait, so that's you wasn't
girlfriend.
asking. You just asked someone else to ask.
Yeah.
And then that all the responsibility was off you.
And then Holly just left and it still somehow fell on my shoulders and I felt really awkward about it. I was like, did I just force you to say that? But no, I think he was like, I wasn't expecting it. It came out of nowhere. And it was every other relationship I've been in has always been like, it's taken like 6 months to figure out whether we're boyfriend and girlfriend. Like my last one, it was 6 months before, almost a year with one of them. And then, so he asked me very quickly, which I kind of respected because I feel like I like someone that just knows what they want too.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Made me
appreciate
feel
that.
special.
So your boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yes.
Aw, that's the first time hearing of it.
Sammy's blushing.
I'm very happy
blushing.
for you.
It's because I'm like, also I have like such a blabbermouth and I tell everyone every detail word too quickly. So I've kind of kept it under wraps and being a little bit more patient with it,
Good for you.
being, just keeping it to myself.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that being said, you're saying you're trying to keep it more private, but obviously...
I've just announced it on a podcast. Yeah.
No, as in you've announced that you're dating someone. You
Yeah.
haven't given any details, but you are, quite I would say like a public figure, and you have amassed a huge following. I think it's like 1.6 million people across different platforms
Right.
that,
I was like,
that
who are you
follow,
looking at? But
that
yeah.
follow your life and what you do. So
Yeah.
as in your experience, like what's it like dating in the public eye? And do you think, like I'm sure there's some people that don't care and don't mind being in that
Yeah.
with you, but I'm sure there's also some people that do care and don't want their relationship in the public eye. So yeah, what's your experience with that?
I've been pretty lucky. I don't think it's ever impacted a relationship very much. The only time I can say that it was really probably out of control was with my ex when he announced like fighting for love and like on Fox 8. Like that was from him. So it wasn't really other people spreading headlines as such. No one else has really been affected by it because although I do live my life online, I still feel like I have the element of privacy as well. Like I'm not filming them constantly. And with my first ex, I was filming him constantly. He was okay with it. So it's only really what they're comfortable with. The only thing I think I find uncomfortable about it is when you are dating someone new and people really try to speculate and write in your comments and just gossip pages spread stuff about you because they actually have no idea what's going on behind closed doors and they speculate and then they'll spread rumors that just aren't true. Like I was dating my other ex for 6 months and they announced things at totally wrong timelines and it's just that's when it just annoys me.
What do you mean? Give me an example.
So when I posted my last ex, we had already been seeing each other 6 months, but people are like, new bae, like, I posted him probably 1 month before we broke up to the public eye, but we had been dating
I
for like
remember
6-7
this.
months before
Yeah.
that. So it looks to everyone else that I just date really quick and I'm constantly breaking up and I've got a million boyfriends, but it's not the case. No one knew about him for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
And then it just looked like we quickly broke up, which was so stupid on
That
my
was
part.
awful timing.
Awful timing.
It was just bad timing.
Yeah, just bad timing. And like now I'm obviously more careful about what I post, but I don't really care to be careful. If I'm happy with the person, it's people can have their judgment and have their opinions regardless. But it's that narrative of, I've got all these boyfriends all the time. I'm in my 20s. I've had 4 boyfriends in my life. Like it's very normal. I'm just dating.
You're dating
I'm
like
going
any
through the
normal person.
motions.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
in my 20s. I'm not married. It's just that I'm on social media and so people think, speculate, gossip, think it's a big deal when it's not.
Have you had the chat with this new guy, like about sort of that? And
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't really care. That's the thing. I don't really have a strong opinion about it. I'd happily post him, but I think I'm just more conscious that I
it's
don't
also
like
up
people.
to them, you know what I mean? At the
Yeah,
end of the
and
day,
he's fine for me too as well. He's in the public eye as well, so he's pretty used to it.
This is going to be like a Guess Who game. You're just going to give us like
Everyone's gonna find him
tiny
straight
little bits
away.
of information, and then everyone's going to just slowly decipher who
Oh,
it is.
everyone already. There's people that have already commented that they know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people have already
How
figured
do
it out.
people
I
find this
don't know.
out?
People are so good at investigating.
That is so odd.
It's so bizarre. Like a couple of my comment sections, people have guessed it. I've just deleted it.
Are you deleting
Like,
it? Okay. Yeah.
Not on my
No,
watch.
not
Get
yet.
out of here.
No.
But I don't delete all of them. I don't really care. But it's more when I see it. I'm like, just stop trying to spread shit. Let me live my life. Like I haven't announced it for a reason. So stop trying to spread my, relationship. It doesn't matter either way. People are going to find out. And people see you in person and people know him separately to me. So his group of people are going to probably spread stuff in amongst themselves too, which I think they already have.
I mean, if you're dating properly now as well,
Yeah,
you
so it
probably
doesn't
would
bother me.
become a bit more relaxed about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, in your experience with past relationships, have you ever found that, you're obviously very successful? Has that ever impacted your relationships in a negative way? Have you found that, have you ever dated anyone who's maybe been intimidated by your success? Like, I mean, obviously you're paying for all the food.
Yeah, when Sammy pulls out the gold platinum American Express card,
Yeah, no, not really. I think they like it. No, it actually hasn't. I think I'm lucky that all my exes have been extremely supportive. That's one thing that I will say about all of them. Like, although it hasn't worked out, they've all been really supportive.
I would be too if someone was feeding me.
Yeah.
Hey, this
Stealing
steak dinner's
50s from my
amazing. You're
wallet.
doing a great job at work. Keep it up.
I know. Well, I mean, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, obviously, if you love someone, you're proud of them when they are successful. And it is beneficial for them too, because if you end up together, like you live that life together and it is more beneficial for both of you. In that sense, it hasn't affected anything and I think they've enjoyed it.
That's a good thing, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it doesn't negatively impact you. Because I can see, like, I got plenty of mates that are probably even a bit older than you, you know, and probably wouldn't have as many, ticks against their name in successes and things that they've done in life. And I could see them maybe being intimidated by dating someone like yourself. So it's good that you found people that aren't, but I'm sure there would be people that potentially were. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the people I've dated though, we're very different. So I feel like there's no clashing in that sense. So it wasn't like a competition in any way with any of them. Same with my current boyfriend. He's got success on his own merit and he does very well for himself and, it's no clashing there. But I think, it's interesting. I feel like all of them have just enjoyed it at that aspect and, have been proud of it. So I can see what you mean, but I'm lucky I haven't run into that yet.
Yeah, how good.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Sammy,
Yes.
what gives you the ick?
Oh my God. This is one of the questions that I am so horrible at because I actually don't get the ick very much.
Nothing.
Well, no, I have a couple, but like
All right. Yeah.
when men breathe, air is not for you. Don't breathe. No. I don't. I mean, I think mine would be very classic cliche icks. Like it's not like running for the bus stop. That's an ick because I'm like,
People that make ones like that are just sick.
it's so
You're
sad.
a sick person.
He's right. I'm like, it makes me sad, not gives me the ick. I would say the only one that's ever happened to me where I've gone, oh, it's like more of a cringe would be when a guy asks you on a date and
Doesn't pay.
No, that's all I've ever experienced. That's all I know.
That's going to be the whole pod. It's just...
That can't give me the ick because that's all I've known. Maybe it will now, though. The first time or second time you're meeting, you go to walk into the restaurant together and the waitress goes, do you have a reservation? They go, no. And they're like, sorry, we're full. And then you have to walk out together and then go find somewhere else to go. And like, you don't really know each other. And
that is icky.
Like, it's not even that he's the ick or like, it's just an icky situation.
Why has he not planned ahead?
Well, exactly. That's
you're going to dinner. Put a bit of effort in. It doesn't. It's not hard to pick up the phone. Hi, do you have any availability? No. Okay, no worries. See ya. Try somewhere else.
And then you have to like walk out the door together. But then because I'm 6'1", like we both like awkwardly bash shoulders and like
he's not even holding the door for it.
No.
Unbelievable.
Wait, so
I tripped over. No.
you being 6'1", does that mean you won't date someone less than 6'1"?
Yeah, no, not historically. I've dated someone my height, but no, I usually go for 6'7" or above. No, I'm kidding. That leaves me with about 0.01% of the population. No wonder I haven't had a good success track record with my dating.
That's why you're boyfriending up the people that you date pretty quickly.
No, I wouldn't actually care dating people my height. I just do tend to go for
Everyone's got a type.
tall.
That's fine.
It's not going to be
Nothing
fun
wrong
when
with
I
it.
give birth, though.
All right. Well, look, I think we've asked you enough questions about dating at this point. We've
Keep an eye on the tabloids, guys, to find out who it is.
Yeah, please don't.
we've totally grilled you. I want to ask you, we're influencers, right? It feels like a dirty word.
It does.
I don't know about you.
I feel like I've landed on content creator. Because I can't
content
deal with
creator.
influencer.
It does. It sounds better.
It sounds better because you just everyone and
Yeah, but
anyone
my
can
mum
create
takes
content.
photos on her phone and
I
puts
know,
them on
but
Instagram.
your mum also
Does
would
she's-
influence people.
Yeah, but
she
she
in her
doesn't
own way.
introduce herself as a content creator.
The thing is, right, when you say that, sometimes people still need further
Yeah. Because you could be like a
explanation.
videographer or a photographer.
They're like, what do
yeah.
you mean content
I get
creator?
that.
For what? So then you have to go, okay, I'm an influencer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What's your least favourite thing about being an influencer?
I just hate. I think that would be the same answer for anyone. Like, just hate.
The
People
hate?
the hate. And not that it comes in mass forms, but like, you know, when it does come, it's just gross.
Just being scrutinised.
Yeah. I don't like being scrutinized. Ironically, since we've lived our lives on social media for so long,
I know.
you'd think we'd be used to it. But actually, the older I get, the more I feel like I'm pulling away from it because I'm getting more anxiety about people speculating on my life.
I know how you feel, yeah.
It feels like I get home and I might read one comment that might set me off and just give me like a little bit of anxiety, and I just prefer not to have that. So I don't talk as much on social media. I need to start on YouTube again because that just gets me warm and comfortable with it. But it feels...
You could go back to old school Sammy mukbangs.
I'd love that. If I could be a mukbanger, I think that is my calling. I'm just late.
You were good
Well,
at
actually,
it.
I was early.
You were early.
I was.
690,000 people watching Sammy eat Maccas.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That is definitely a downfall. And what I find really interesting is that there's also the comments that come through from people who are like, well, you knew what you were getting yourself into.
We didn't, though, when we started.
It didn't.
This was so long ago.
It literally didn't exist as a career.
Yeah.
Or we didn't know what was going on. We just
Yeah.
accumulated followers, 12
This
years
is-
longer,
yeah, 11
13, 14
yeah.
years ago now.
Yeah.
And it just grew into this thing that it is now, this monster, this beautiful monster.
Beautiful monster. Like, we love it, and I have so much, I guess,
You got to take the good
gratitude
with the bad,
towards
right?
Oh,
it.
yeah,
Like,
of
I wouldn't
course.
change a thing. So I hate speaking negatively about it. But you're right. We didn't start it when it was what it is now. So we didn't sign ourselves up for... Obviously, there was public forums. Like, everyone was used to, back in the day, what was it? Like, Tumblr, and people would speak
Yes.
and comment. And, like, Facebook, MySpace, people would speak and comment. But that's what we signed ourselves up for on Instagram and YouTube, too, because people would just speak and comment. It
Yes.
wasn't that we were an influencer. It was just that we were sharing our lives on a different social media platform than maybe MySpace. It was just Instagram or it was YouTube.
Yeah.
It was just, there was so many different places you could turn to where you could become popular and gain followers.
Yeah.
Influencer wasn't really a definition back then,
it
was
wasn't.
it?
And it
No.
felt more like you
can't
had this
even remember.
extended circle of friends almost. So you let them into your life and you shared things about your life with them. And
Yeah.
you probably communicated with them a bit more. I mean, I know I did back
Yeah.
then because it was
Yeah.
easier. There's less
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So you're kind of chatting to them, you're getting to know them as well.
Yeah.
And it was really lovely. It was this kind of community feel. But obviously as it grows and, you know, whilst a lot of that is incredible and we're very grateful for it, I think that it also grows to extend to an audience that might not be on your side.
Totally. And I think that's TikTok. I think because it's
really?
on a For You page where it just...
People aren't following
it's
you, it's
presented
just-
to
Yeah.
anyone and everyone.
Sure.
It's not people that choose to follow you. That's obviously you're opening yourself up to people being like, oh, I do not like you. I'm going to comment and say my piece, which is completely fine. You can always tell when a video is slightly viral that it's not your audience watching it. It's not the people that
Yes.
support you. You're like, they don't like me. But yeah, it comes with the territory. But if I had to choose one thing that I just don't like about it, I think that's the thing that probably would give influencers the most anxiety.
With all that you've accomplished, I want to circle back to Kendall because I think
Yes.
there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in
Curious,
that.
yeah.
How did you get 1 mile on Kendall?
She messaged me. No, I'm kidding. I wish.
Did
Kendall.
you just call Kendall
I
up?
did. I have Kendall's number. We're friends. We're close acquaintances. No, so we're doing this global US expansion this year. That's kind of, we've
Yes.
got 2 main projects this year. US growth is one of them. So we're doing a capsule collection currently with Kendall Visor, which is launching next week. So I'm flying to LA this weekend. Yeah.
Are you?
What is
How
Kendall
exciting.
Visor? Excuse my ignorance.
She's a
What
beautiful. What is she?
What?
is a lady.
Sorry, who is she?
She is a gorgeous model in Los Angeles, and we styled the shoot with Mimi Cottrell. She just styled Gigi Hadid for the Met Gala. She did Alexandra Cooper's wedding, so she's an amazing stylist in Los Angeles. So we just wanted a really gorgeous little team, something that's quite simple to just kickstart our presence in Los Angeles. I say that really weird. LA. Why am I saying Los Angeles?
It's okay. You're doing great.
And yeah, that was just really weird. I've never said that before. And we got a gorgeous photographer. He's Australian, and we're going to do a lunch next week. So our whole ethos of this year is just do more outside of Australia, because I think you don't plateau in Australia, but we've got such an amazing audience that is so consistent. Our returning customer rate is amazing. Like that's what we want to always feed, that community, because they're the ones that really have kickstarted all of our success. But in doing that, we also need to grow. So LA is probably the place that would be, to me, the most similar to Sydney in terms of lifestyle, if you were to copy paste our kind of lifestyle over in America. Interestingly, though, our biggest audience is in New York, which I love New York.
Oh, your biggest US audience?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
But just in terms of obviously media and stylists and celebrities and things, we're going to LA this time. But so through that, we're using an amazing agency. Their entire business model is around gifting. So we just do organic gifting. We've only done 1 or 2 paid scenarios on social media, but this is just a gifting strategy. And so the way you kind of get through is that you gift stylists that dress celebs. So we gifted Kendall Jenner's stylist, and that's where 1 mile was put on her for her big 818 event. We were lucky though, because it wasn't just Kendall being caught paparazzi going to dinner. Like, she wore that to her big 818 times.
Yes.
Kylie Jenner. What was the seltzer thing that she launched?
I'm not 100% sure, but I saw a lot of photos.
There was a lot of media around it.
lot.
So we were very lucky.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
So are you then allowed to like use that imagery, or do you need to buy like stock photos?
If it's from social media that they posted organically, we can repurpose. I'm pretty sure, like anyone can with us. We can't put money behind it and use digital ads, so we can't use it as an advertising means. But we can organically reshare and things, which is all we've done. We've just posted being like, oh my God, look, Kenny and the Benny. But
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So gifting.
Yeah, gifting.
Gifting's working, guys.
Yeah, aiming to gift stylists is really the main goal at the moment, because they're the ones that put the clothes on the main celebrities, and they've got amazing style, and it's just good. They even themselves have accumulated a mass following. Like, they've got amazing style themselves. So even if they wear it, it's great. So
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it's not mass send outs. We're very particular and selective with who we do send stuff to, because we don't want, I mean, even when you send stuff where it's not already requested, it just gets stuck in the bottom of people's boxes and people never open it, and it's just it's too much wastage.
Even when it is requested, sometimes people request it, and then we'll get in touch with them, and 6 months later they just stop responding to you. And I'm thinking, that is so strange from like a professional perspective, that you've reached out to a brand to ask for something from them, like, and they've gone, yeah, that sounds great. Like, really, that's lovely when you're wanting it instead of me wanting to give it to you. So that's a nice start. Flattering. But when they just take it and leave it, it's just it's very strange.
It's so strange. They're public. It's not like you can just hide and delete your Facebook account and never existed. Like, you're literally like an influencer that you'll run into it in an event. It's so awkward.
It's disappointing as well,
Yeah, it is. It's disappointing, especially because when you have only so much that you budget towards the gifting aspect, and you send it to everyone that may have asked for it, because we're the same in Australia. We'll send lookbooks here and there to people, but usually we do try to lean on people that ask for stuff. We're more inclined to get a post that way. At the end of the day, you're not paying, so you can't have any expectations around getting a post.
Yes.
But if they ask,
you kind of think,
generally rule of thumb is that you should at least get a story or a tag or a shout out, or even a photo of a package. Like, that's branding. Like,
the tag.
Yeah.
But, and we understand it from the other end of things as well. Like, I'm sure you've received
But
things.
I wouldn't ask for things.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
If you're asking, it's generally known that you're really interested in you're going to like it, right? Yeah. Whereas you know, sometimes you can just be sent stuff. Like sometimes I'll open the door and it's just there and I don't even know how it got there, you know? So that's a little bit different. It's kind of like, okay, you're taking a gamble. That's fine. You know, you haven't outwardly asked, what's your size? What do you like? Do you even want this? But yeah, when people explicitly message you and ask for things and then
it's disappointing.
You're kind of like, yeah, sure, no worries. And it can feel like a bit of a, but that's part of the gamble, isn't it?
I've got a better one for you. Something that Jad and I have a bit of a giggle with our own brand. And I'm sure it happens to you. It has to happen to you as well. Is that we have so many people reach out to us. 10 a day, of people going like, hey, I love your brand. I've been following it for a long time. Like, you know, be really interested in a collaboration. Like, you know, are you down to give some pieces? And then you'll click on their profile. They don't even follow you. The brand. They don't even follow the brand.
All
and I
the
think
time.
I think to myself, why would you reach out to a brand and proclaim your love to them and how much you love and want to work with them? And then they click on your profile and you don't even follow the brand. It's like, you couldn't be more disingenuous, you know? Like it's
copy paste.
All it is you press follow and then send the message.
Follow first.
Like,
that is our one piece of advice. If you're listening, if you're a micro-influencer or an influencer and you're trying to get free stuff, follow the brand.
Yeah, that's so true.
It is the easiest thing because we have seen a lot of accounts we've gone, oh, great. Like, we really like how this person looks. They fit the brand. Then realize, oh, hang on, don't even follow us. So,
and then it's like, even if you're telling us that you like the brand and you've got a great profile, great aesthetic, you create awesome content, it's like, we don't really want you to genuine. Yeah, it's not genuine. You don't actually like our brand. You don't actually want it. It's you're just sending out 50 messages a day, you know? So it's like,
it seems very copy paste. Yeah, that's actually interesting. I don't think I've ever noticed that, but
have a look now. You won't be able to unnotice it now. Yeah, it happens all the time to us.
That's so interesting.
What's the biggest hurdle you've had to face with 1 Mile up until now?
That's a good question. I've probably had 1 million. When stock comes in slightly different to the measurements you've put in your tech pack and you just have to reshoot the entire campaign because it looks slightly different. Well, our biggest thing is that we want everything photographed exactly how it's supposed to fit on those measurements. So if you go on the size chart and you look at that the model is 6 foot, 5'11", whatever, you can figure out what it's going to look like on you if you measure yourself correctly. So then there's nothing more frustrating than when you do the entire campaign and then the stock comes in and it's like 4 centimeters shorter and you're like, well, I have to reshoot that, or that's a bad example, but sometimes the waist will come in 4 centimeters tight and it's suddenly a high-waisted pair of pants as opposed to, you know, a low-waisted. So there's been a couple of scenarios like that. We've always managed to kind of get around it, though. You just have to make sure you're honest and transparent on your website and then nothing will really go wrong in terms of customers. There's obviously so many scenarios too where no matter how much QC quality control you put in to every collection, there's always things that are going to slip through the keeper and you just have to have really good, strong customer service and customers always right. So you just got to always be able to alleviate every situation. Yeah, I think there's just bits and pieces. We had so many mistakes in the beginning, but I don't regret or despise any of them because you kind of need those things to happen in order to learn. I would say the biggest one on an everyday perspective for me as a CEO would be staffing, just finding people that are consistent, willing to work in a small company. And I think that I've always sort of hired, I'm very lucky. I've had such amazing staff and I've had so many amazing girls work for me. But as I do hire young, because we are, you know, an e-commerce model, social media driven, you kind of have to have someone that really understands your world and where you originated from. Not to say that people that, you know, are any older wouldn't understand that, but that's
it helps usually, have people who are fully immersed in pop culture and the industry. Yeah.
Are you trying to say you don't want someone who types with one finger working at 1 Mile?
Like my mum. She asked if she could work for me. I said politely, I'm going to decline.
Yeah, I think we've had Bardon make a few suggestions with our business.
Yeah, and you're just like, and it's
we've got her on R&D. We just go, you do R&D and just filter it through to us once a month, and
But it's so interesting, and you guys would know this as well. Even my dad, who I respect so much as a businessman, who has so much experience, he's been CEO of several companies. He dealt majorly in distribution in large companies with hundreds of staff and, you know, more of that physical brick and mortar type business model. For him to come in and try to also help at the beginning was tricky for him because it is that new age e-com model where it is social media backed. There's that fast pace. It's even the sales orders, like that fast paced sales order or the POs that I put through. It's not based on, 1,000 orders times, 6 months equals shelf life of da da da. It doesn't work that way. If something goes viral on Instagram, you've got to be agile. And it's just a very interesting business model when you compare it to something that's a little bit more like a conglomerate or something that's been, in business for a long time. So I do hire young most of the time, and they have so much ahead of them that some of them have moved overseas, some of them have decided to try contracting, some of so staffing and finding the right people to sit in the right seats in a small business where you do wear several hats, that's tricky because you do communicate that to the best of your ability that everyone is going to be, doing several things, which is good because you do learn a lot.
I think on that, something I realized personally as well is that no one's going to care about your business
as
the
much
same
as you do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think it's also naive to think that they should,
That's
because
actually so untrue.
Yeah, when you
I've learned though with my current employees, you can find that, and it's so hard too. The girls that work for me now, I mean, you guys have met Georgie. She's unbelievable. She's been with me from the beginning, and I couldn't have done it without her. And my staff at the moment is ride or die 1 mile. Like I have, because I wear several different hats outside of 1 mile too. I'm constantly running off to events and filming, and I work 9 to 5. I'm in there 9 to 5 every day of the week with them, but they really are ride or die the brand. So I used to have that perspective where I'd be like, no one's going to care as much as I do, but you can find those people that do.
Do you think that you've got lucky in finding them, or did you have to put something in place to incentivize them to care?
Incentives are very important. You always have to incentivize your staff. Otherwise, if you won't see any longevity if they don't feel like they can grow within your company or have, certain thresholds that they can hit where they know that they're going to have, a promotion or a bonus or whatever scheme that might come out of it. That's an interesting one because we're about to just open our store, and I really want there to be those fun little incentives for the in-store staff as well. And I'm lucky that the girls that currently work with me have worked in retail before, and they say that's the most fun, working in a company where that there's like
to try and hit
targets, and it's satisfying for them, even if it isn't a dollar sign incentive. It's just fun for them to hit certain things. And as a brand that is so agile and young, it's so fun for all of us to kind of have different projects and be thrown into the deep end constantly. They will laugh because I'm constantly just throwing random large projects at them, and all of us don't really have experience with it, but we figure it out, and if we fail, whatever, we've learned from it, but most of the time you're fine. I
think that's one of the best things though about having your own thing and is the learning. Like it's like the skills that I'm sure you've learned and that we've learned over the years of having your own business. Like you can't put a price on that, No. And it's like, as you said, if you fail, it's like, I said this to Jad, we had this conversation recently, and she sort of said what happens if everything goes wrong, and like what happens if it goes downhill and we lose everything, and it's time and effort and money and resources like down the drain, where we could have been doing other things. I said, but you can't look at it like that because we've learned so much and we've become different people in the process. So as in like, that's what you've gained, irrespective of if it's money 100%. Or growth. It's who you become in the process of doing this monstrous 100%. Thing,
And it's so funny. I always laugh because I'm on LinkedIn as a CEO. I always get like the LinkedIn emails being like, Arnott's is looking for a new CEO. And I'm like, in what world would that ever be me? But also I would nail that. I would actually nail that marketing strategy. I would just do all the mukbangs. Yeah. But I'm virtually unemployable because I've always run my own businesses. Now for the last 10 years, that's what I've done. And I just know how I like things done. And I've always kind of lived that way. I've got, enough experience in knowing how it's really weird to say actually, but even from a young age, Dad always told me I was going to be a CEO. So I think I just grew up with that mentality, and I just will not take failure as an option. Sure. So I'm like you. I have moments where I think about it and I'm like, oh my God, this month's revenue is so low. How am I going to afford all my overheads? Like I've hired all these beautiful young women. What if that, but there's 1 million ways around that before a failure. Of course. You just have to pivot so often, but it is overwhelming sometimes, and no one understands the pressure of running a company like the people that are running the company, and that you're going to live with that pressure for the rest of your life, or until it does fail.
How do you manage that element? Like we always say, that's something like the ability to, when you go away from a 9 to 5 or a job where you can leave it at the door, which some jobs you can't, but some you can. How do you deal with that inability to switch off, where every issue that comes at your business is your issue to fix. And, whether it's staff or overseas factories, 3PLs, people don't realize you're a small business, but you're dealing with big problems.
With lots.
So,
you're facilitating so many different teams. Sometimes I cry, in all honesty. Sometimes I will literally cry.
There with you,
But honestly, I think the way that I grew up, and you'd be the same because you've got several siblings, like I grew up in chaos. I've grown up in an environment where I'm constantly playing sport. I'm constantly doing something. I had 2 parents that were so busy around me. It's just ingrained in me to be on all the time. And I think that when I'm off, I don't enjoy it. I actually spiral. If I have 2 days off or I'm sick and I don't have something to do or I'm not being challenged, my mental health goes down the drain. Honestly, I really love and thrive off being busy. So I have my family to thank for that, really just being so unhinged because we were unhinged when we grew up. There was so much going on. Every one of us played sports every single day of the week with 2 parents. I don't even know how they did that, whether it was like Jessica at crack of dawn rowing and then me at basketball every night and afternoon. But Dan, played professional sport. Everyone was so sporty and crazy and just had so much energy that I think that's just what I'm used to. So I cry when it gets overwhelming for sure. But then, you pull your pants up. Yeah. Pull your pants up. Why were your pants down?
Why were they down?
I don't know. Sometimes you just never know the answers to that. But you just have to get over it. Like, you can't dwell on things too long.
Do you ever struggle with people taking you seriously as a young business owner?
Oh my God. It's my favorite thing. It really is.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's like...
Do you just like proving them wrong?
Everyone, how old are you, Sammy?
27. I started one when I was 24. 23, actually. But I can't even tell you, I can't even count on 2 hands how many times like a man or even a woman has been like, who's the boss? Or where
just
do you
in denial.
Do you have someone, an investor, or does anyone have capital? I'm like, no, it's 100% me. And they're like, did someone? I'm like, no, all me. And they're like, there's no one else on a board. Like, no, it's me.
How do you deal with that? Like, that would frustrate me.
It's like fun to then prove them wrong and show that you can do it yourselves.
Yeah.
It is annoying in some scenarios. Like, I'd signed a lease. The real estate agent, before I put the offer in, emailed me and said, make sure the offer is good and well worded. We don't want him to think that you're a 17-year-old girl with a dream.
No. Sorry, that is so insulting.
It's so rude.
That's so insulting.
I would have said I'm going to find another agent, give the commission to someone else.
Is he saying that to a 50-year-old man? No. Absolutely not.
No. But it's so funny because then I went and wrote the most outrageous offer with... Like, no, just the way that I worded it was so over the top. And he was like, that was the best offer I've seen. I was like, go fuck yourself.
I would have sent the offer and then put a bunch of emojis and kisses.
Yeah, I did exclamations and kisses. That's what I do when people don't take me seriously. I'll just send 1 million exclamation marks and just heaps of smiley faces.
Just send the dollar figure with no other text and 2 X's. Oh, that's ridiculous.
Exactly, but it happens all the time.
Alrighty, guys, we're kicking off Ask Mum, Dad and Daughter today with a question from Anonymous. And they have asked, can a couple who's broken up but have feelings for each other rekindle in the future? Let's ask our daughter. Sammy?
Absolutely not. No. Obviously, that's how my mum and dad got back together.
Oh, is it?
You?
Oh,
I can't believe that went over Jad's head. That was... Wow.
I was like, when did your parents break up? Tell me more.
No, they never did. I definitely have broken up several times with my exes and tried again. I think it's so important to try as many times as you need to mentally get over a situation and never think, what if? For me, I really beat the dead horse. Is that the saying?
Flogging a dead horse.
Yeah, I flogged it one too many times past the point where I knew we weren't meant for each other. But I think, like, some people, it just takes that amount of time to really know that you're not meant for each other, or in some amazing cases like yourselves.
Yeah, but I think our case may be a little different. Like this person saying, is it all right to get back with rekindle when you have feelings? That when Jad and I split up, there was zero thought about getting back together. It wasn't like, hey, let's go work on ourselves and, you know, we'll give it 6 months and we'll rekindle. It was like, hey, see you later. Like, this is not working for us right now. Take care. All the best. And then, you know, Jad went and dated people. I dated people. And then our lives found their way back to each other. But it wasn't a plan. So as in, for this person, I would say I wouldn't sit there thinking that you're going to get back with this person, because that will inhibit the way you live your life, you know.
Unless it's sort of mutual. I would say if you're the only one thinking it and you don't know what they're thinking, or there's some discussion around wanting to try again, or you know you might have had a heated fight and you regret what you said and you want to get back together, that's, you know, you can try. Yeah, if there's one person that's 100% not in and you're kind of still leaning in, you've got feelings, that's just going to hurt you, I think. You've got to... I do believe no contact is good for a certain amount of time until, like, if the universe brings you back together, then...
I agree. I think you can't have a plan to get back together.
No.
I think if you both have feelings for one another and you've recognised that, that's great. But if you've broken up, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
You need to put it to bed without 100%. The plan of finding yourselves back together, because otherwise, mentally, you're not checking out. Your intentions are always going to be, how do I guide this situation back to where I want it to be? Yeah. And you're actually not pulling away in the way that you really should. So
I think if you have a plan to get back with them, just don't break up in the first place. Just stay with them.
100%. Every time I've broken up with an ex, we've broken up and we've parted ways for a month or two. Like, it's not, I was like you guys, it was not intentional to have a break and then, you know, see where it goes. You have to fully cut it off and know that you're broken up. And then if you dreadfully miss each other and you both come back together and you want to try again, then it's okay.
Yeah.
But you can't. Yeah, I don't think it works if it's like, let's just like have a moment.
I also think it's really strange when you do keep in touch with an ex if you're trying to move on, because I almost don't think that's like fair on future partners. Like if you meet someone new and you're trying to make things work with them and you've still got this odd connection with your ex where you speak all the time and you know you still have this, you know, little romantic connection, as much as people say they don't care, it's like I think it's that's a bit odd to be you know, close with an ex if you're trying to move on. I've
personally never stayed close with an ex. I think I just don't believe you can be friends with an ex. I just don't want to be with someone that's friends with their ex, so like why would exactly. You know, I'm the same as you. I think that's toxic if you're both letting each other on and you're pretending to be friends and you kind of got, you know, friends with benefits, whatever. It's just, that's not going to end healthily in any scenario in any way, unless you're open to just you've got your own views on monogamy and whatever else that you both agree on, for sure, but it's never going to work if you're just keeping each other there for...
So general consensus, I think, between the three of us is, if you're breaking up, break up properly. You can't have the intention of coming back together, and if it so happens, that's great, good for you. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Yeah, answer the question is possible, but...
We didn't do it on purpose.
No.
We weren't like hanging out to dive back into things again together. It just happened very organically after 2 years of us being, you know, single/dating other people.
Do you know, actually,
also, here we go.
Now that
Look at his face. You just know he's going to say something cheeky.
Watched
I know.
Baby Reindeer, it actually reminds me a lot of how you started stalking me, coming into my bar and and wanting a free beverino.
Don't enable him, okay? You're supposed to back me up.
I think it was actually you that got that job because you knew that she was coming to that.
I stood there every weekend and didn't have any other place to go.
You stayed at your place of work knowing I would one day come back.
Yes.
It's all right. I'm glad she came back.
Yeah.
You've got a sibling on the way, so.
Yes, I know.
Sammy.
Still so weird seeing that.
Thank you so bloody much for coming on and being our first guest on the pod. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolute pleasure.
Hearing about all your hilarious dating stories, and also...
It was just one of them. What do you mean, all of them?
Your wonderful accolades.
It's... Am I going to
Well done. We're very proud of you, sweetheart.
Thank you. Love you, Mum and Dad. Thanks for having me, and I'm honoured to be guest number 1.
Absolute bloody pleasure.
Guys, if you do have a question for our Ask Mum and Dad segment, you can email us at madaboutYou@novapodcast.com.au. And if you did enjoy the podcast, let me just tell you, it means a lot to us if you leave us a review wherever you're listening. Tell a friend, tell your pet to listen along. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.